Welcome to TopBranch, a series from the Dove Agency, where we're rooted in stability and reaching for growth. Join the Dove Agency and our special guests as we bring you expert insights and practical solutions to help your interior design business thrive. This is TopBranch. Let's grow together.
All right, we are back for episode 4 of TopBranch. I'm Beth Bender.
I'm Ruthie and Jansen.
We're excited today to dive into the subject of studio or no studio, home office
to be or not to be.
To be or not to be. I think that when we have clients that want to talk to us about, is it time for me to move to a studio or get out of my home office?
What does that look like?
What does that look like?
Yeah.
It's a tough decision because as a designer, you want your space that clients come to look professional. You also, it's an extension of how well can you do your design. If they're coming to some crappy place to look at samples or to look at your design, that's not going to be real good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, one of the things, we get this question a lot, especially on the financial side of our business, where clients are coming to us and saying like, what is that magic number in terms of revenue or in terms of net income that I need to have to say it's time to turn the corner and start looking for a space, paying rent every month, etc. And we love having practical tips and takeaways on this, but unfortunately there isn't a magic number.
It's a lot. I came thinking you were going to get that number.
It's a lot of things to consider. I mean, I think that, taking a look obviously at your top line, like your revenue and especially your pipeline. And this really comes into play in terms of like the longevity of your projects and how full is that pipeline and how secure is the revenue that you have from when you're looking at it forward, as well as your other fixed expenses and the size of your team. Those are probably the 3 things that we're looking at most kind of in tandem to help designers decide if it's the right time. So there's kind of a mechanical aspect of it, but there's also the intangibles. So let's talk about some of those as well.
So one of the things, going back to what you said about your projects and the longevity of your projects, it is very hard when you're a designer and you're doing more small projects, one rooms, one-offs, more spec builds, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't look 18 months down the road and say, am I going to have income coming in? And obviously you're always going to have to take risk. You're always going to have to say, you know what, I bet on myself. I believe that there's going to be revenue down there. But I think you also need to balance that a little bit with, no, I've got an anchor project here that is, I know this design project is going to take 18 months or whatever. And it's an anchor project that I can use as a little bit of my safety net.
Right.
And I think that if you don't have those kind of projects going, or at least one of those kind of projects going, moving into a studio or moving into a 3 to 5 year lease is probably not your best bet.
Yeah.
What else do we want to talk about?
Well, and I think that, the other piece of that is, there's the numbers, like we were just kind of parlaying off that. But the other thing is, there are other factors like, my team is growing and we're like this and we actually cannot work. So, I mean, that's maybe like an obvious silly thing, but things in terms of like the size of your team, how the space is working for you. Do you have room for your samples? Is it a place that reflects your brand? Like when you have clients that are meeting in the space, is this, a reflection of your work and how you want them to view your work? So those are types of things that may actually push you to get the studio ahead of having those projects. And like Beth said, you're always, as a small business owner, managing these risks as they come in. And there's no magic potion for any of this, but it's good to be educated and to be thinking about all of these things and how they're working together to come up with the best decision for your firm.
And know that too, your talent is what you're selling. At the end of the day, a lot of times you're going to be going into the client's homes, you're going to be showing them your photography. If it comes down to, do I spend my money on a studio or rent, or do I spend my money on professional photography to be able to have a portfolio of my work? Spend it on the photography all day long.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's what you have to sell. And so again, it's an intangible. Like you have to balance all of these things in terms of what's going to be best for you to spend your money on. But what you're selling is your talent, and how are they going to see your talent? It's typically going to be in your project portfolio. And I can tell you, we have seen designers that have run super successful firms that have gone on for 20 plus years, and they've done it all
from
out
their
of their
back house
or from their back house. And it's not a sign of whether or not you're successful or not if you're in a studio or you're not in a studio. I think it's really more about, like you said, some of those intangibles, and then is it right for your bottom line?
Yeah, and we've seen too, like designers that have gone to a studio and then gone back and said, this wasn't the right fit for me. It felt too corporate. It wasn't kind of the folksy vibe that they wanted to put out. I mean, there's just so many things to think about, but I think to wrap this up, it's basically thinking about the longevity of your projects and the other fixed expenses that you have, like from a nuts and bolts perspective. Like, do I have the revenue coming in to cover this lease, which they're typically going to be 2 to 4 to even 5 year leases. I mean, this isn't going to be a 3 or 4 month thing that you're probably getting into. So you have to be able to kind of look pretty forward looking in terms of the revenue, as well as those other fixed expenses you have, like in terms of team and other variables, as well as variable expenses. All those things need to be woven in together before you take this incredible leap of studio or no studio.
Right. You can run a successful business either way.
Yes, for sure. And we are wrapping up with a quote, as we like to do here. And this one is more on we're gonna like take a little creative license with this one, because it's kind of like you have to visualize this incredible leap of faith to get the studio. And this is by Robin Williams, who everybody probably loves him. Here we go. Jump into the unknown, but maybe do a quick risk assessment first, because the universe rewards the bold, not the reckless. So think about those other aspects before you get into the long-term lease.
Be bold, not reckless. Okay.
Thank you, guys. See you next time.
The Dove Agency is committed to services that ensure your financial stability and growth. As part of our dedication to the design industry, we present ID Nest, a powerful software solution for designers. Built by industry experts, it integrates financial insights, project and task management, time tracking, CRM and marketing tools to streamline workflow and power your designs. Join us next time on TopBranch. And in the meantime, to learn more, visit idnest.com.